Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. We're going to take a look at an Ohio Valley Conference matchup, Eastern Division. We're going to take a look at Eastern Kentucky at Belmont. Now, Ken, I'm going to start off, a lot of people say, Saturday, a big card. You got all these games to look at. What in the world are you looking at wasting time on Eastern Kentucky and Belmont? But a lot of times, if you've got the inside knowledge of a particular conference, you can do much better with these smaller conferences that don't get all the attention of Vegas. Now, I mean, Vegas is not just totally blowing by this, but I can tell you they're not putting as much time in Eastern Kentucky and Belmont as they are on, a top 10, matchup of two heavyweights that's going to be on ESPN or something that's going to get a ton of play. They wanted to make sure they got a tight number there. And you're the type of guy that with your radio show, you talk to everybody all over the country, and that is just an incredible handicapping tool for you to be able to talk to play-by-play announcers, coaches, and different things, and you get little nuggets that the general population just don't get.
Yeah, a lot of reading, though. And Belmont's a team that's been around for the last several years, and they've been one of those darlings, those mid-major darlings as far as the NCAA tournament. They've upset some teams over the years. Eastern Kentucky's a very proud program, and when you realize how good the basketball is in states like Indiana and Kentucky, not just at the Division I level, but at the Division II level, and I realized that when I was calling games for UC Riverside. Now they're Division I, but they were Division II in '95 when I started, and actually went to the national championship game with UCR against Bruce Pearl in Southern Indiana, and the tournament was down there. The Elite Eight was down there in Louisville, but there were teams like Northern Kentucky, Kentucky Wesleyan. The basketball down there is rich, big time. It is the Bluegrass State, and they love their basketball, and that Eastern Kentucky Colonels team is darn good. Now, they beat Belmont in their first of two, and they are on the same side of the Ohio Valley. And I think they're the two best teams. Murray State, who's been a perennial power in the Ohio Valley, is on the other side of on the western side, and they're probably going to get the winner of that as far as they would be the top two teams as far as the 1-2 seeds. Now,
you said that this is a team at Belmont that's had some success, the darling in the NCAA tournament, and pulled up a couple upsets and stuff. And what I found with some of these mid-major teams like this, the reason these teams do better sometimes than expected is the big programs, we know they get all the blue chip guys coming in, but they don't stay. They're there 1 year, 2 years, and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. Where you get these teams like, Butler was a great example with the runs that they had. You get these teams, they're good athletes, they're good players, ball players, but they're not the elite. But what you end up getting is 5 guys that stay. They play their 4 years. Mm-hmm. And when you get a group that can play for 3 years together, the chemistry, that is just so much stronger than the teams that are that constant turnover. And I think that's why some of these mid-majors are dark horses, to pull some upsets. Then, of course, talent generally runs its course whenever you get to the top, but you can play much better than you look by the name in your conference.
Yeah, and that's why you'll see in the tournament, especially the first 2 days, you're seeing some of these big schools pulling their hair out, going like, gosh dang it, how are we not beating this team by 15 points? We should be blowing them out. But it all changed when they put the three-pointer in, because a lot of these mid-major teams, they're not getting the 7-footer, the 6'10 guy, 6'11 guy. Their centers are 6'7", 6'8". But a lot of them that are well coached, good spacing, good ball movement, knock down the three consistently. That's the case with these two teams.
All right. Well, you know what? We danced around it enough. This is your free pick. Let's make it official.
All righty. And this will be a great game. This is actually a rematch. Belmont went to Eastern Kentucky, and Eastern Kentucky beat them. I, at that time, called it the biggest game in the Colonels' in their history. Again, they're a team that's favored to be there at the end of the year in the Ohio Valley. If you read the Blue Ribbon, which is a guideline for anybody that follows college basketball, they were picked to come first right there with Belmont. And again, they're on the same side of that bracket there. Belmont, their first year in the Ohio Valley, very solid team. Craig Bradshaw leads the way. Now we're taping again on Wednesday night. They have a game with Morehead State at home tonight. And meanwhile, Eastern Kentucky, they're at Tennessee State. Shouldn't be a problem for either team to take care of business. business, although Moorhead is pretty good as well. So Belmont does not want to look ahead to the rematch with Eastern Kentucky. In that game, Eastern Kentucky, a late run at home. They won the game 74-63. Belmont, though, out-rebounded Eastern Kentucky 34-20. However, the turnovers is what killed them, 19-9. They gave up 19 turnovers, and that'll drive a coach crazy, and you're going to lose a lot of games when you turn the ball over 19 times. Belmont, though, is a game ahead of Eastern Kentucky right now, as the Colonels, after that win, they lost focus, and they lost to some teams in the lower echelon of the Ohio Valley. But I think this will be a dynamite game. Now, I talked to Chuck as far as his power ratings. He had this game anywhere from 5 to 5.5, with Belmont being a favorite on their home court against Eastern Kentucky. I say lay it. Even if it goes on up to 6, 6.5, I'm okay. Anything less than 7, I like Belmont in this game on their home court. If you don't know where Belmont is, they're right there in Nashville. It's a great home court advantage. It's a proud team. Again, Craig Bradshaw, 22 a game. He actually had 22 in the first game, but he gets 16 a game. J.J. Mann, 16 points. Drew Windler. They shoot 50% from the floor and 39% from behind the arc as a team, and that'll get it done most of the time. Meanwhile, for Eastern Kentucky, Glenn Cozy, he's their main guy. He's their go-to guy. He did struggle in the first meeting, just 1 of 8 behind the arc and 2 of 10 from the floor, so he'll probably pick it up, but I can see them clamping down on the other players. And again, a great home court advantage, a wild environment, packed to the rooftops, and a smaller gym, but still, they're going to get the most out of their crowd, and they're going to ride that to a victory. They're going to even it out. I played Eastern Kentucky when they played Belmont at home. I'm going to play Belmont here when they play Eastern Kentucky at home. That's Saturday's game. My play on pregame.tv. Take Belmont, lay the points over EKU, and I think you'll be okay. I think they win by double digits.
Great stuff, Ken. All right, there you have it. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at a Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference game on Sunday. Ken's bringing out all the big guns this week. That's next, pregame.tv.